Why does God allow difficulties in our lives? Let's talk about it.
You got what you need, so let God be the lead and know that mountain ain't gonna move till you tell it. Quit doubting what you're feeling, gonna feel it. Give it all you got.
Many people ask me this question all the time. And they ask me this question because of how highly I speak of the Father. But my assurance of the Father is a direct reflection of my relationship with Him. So people feel comfortable and they want to know how do you trust the Father the way you do? You know, why does God allow difficulties in our lives if He loves us so much? Well, I'm happy you asked. See, the first thing to starting a relationship with someone is learning their character. You have to learn who the Father is. And the Father, He told us. Jesus tells us in John 16:33, I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. So, the reason why I shared that scripture with you is because I want to point out that what helped me in my relationship with the Father is the more I read His Word, the more He revealed. And that told me that He wanted me to know the truth beforehand. And knowing the truth beforehand is also one of the gifts that the Father has given to me. So before something traumatic happens in my life, God will give me a dream or a vision of it to prepare me long before it takes place. So when I think about these things, the way the Father, He doesn't hide anything from me. He is honest. He is faithful. He's truthful with me. That feeds my relationship with Him. That helps me to trust Him. That is Him building the requirement that He wants me to have, that I have to have in order to please Him. Yes, we're talking about faith. This is why the Father allows difficulties in your life. But the difficulties, from my experience, every difficulty that I have had, I saw the Father in it. No matter what it was, I saw Him in it. Did I get upset? Yeah, I got upset. It's a difficulty. You're going to get upset. Did I question Him? Yes, I questioned the Father. It's a difficulty. We're going to question Him. But the more difficulties that I had, the more of God I saw. And that tells me one thing. He was very serious about growing my faith. John 16:33, He was telling us it was going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Believing in me, trusting in me, does not exempt you from trial and tribulation. But He also said in Hebrews 11:6, without faith, it is impossible to please God. Faith is the strength. Faith is the trust. It is the whole. It makes the relationship solid. It brings it together. The Father said, in order for you to come to me, you have to believe that I am. In order for me to believe that you are, I have to have faith. In order for me to have the faith that I need to see God, God has to put me in circumstances where I see Him. And that grows my faith. I'll use myself as an example. I'll use my relationship. The Father told me long ago that I was going to be with this man. He told me long ago. But did I go off into other relationships? Yes, I did. It wasn't because I didn't believe. It wasn't because of that. But I was not walking in the Spirit in order to obey the Father up until that point, to where he would bring the promise to pass. So when he showed me the man that I was going to marry, I was in a whole nother season. I was a whole nother person. So what happened? Circumstances happened. Things happened. Relationships fell apart time after time. And I knew in the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't going to work out. I knew it wasn't going to work out. It got to a point where it wasn't even surprising to me anymore, because I already knew. God already showed me. But because I could not be still, sit and wait for the Father, I was entertaining counterfeits. I was wasting their time. I had fun doing it because I was immature at the time. And I didn't have the spiritual contentment to be still. So I ran wild. And God allowed a circumstance. He allowed a heartbreak. Because ultimately, being still is an extension of faith. Being mature, being content in the Father is an extension of faith. It's it shows the Father, I have faith in you. I can sit here and wait for you. Like how I'm sitting here right now, being still, just speaking. I'm patient. I'm calm. That's what the Father wanted me to do in the Spirit. But I couldn't do it. I wasn't ready. I knew what the Father wanted for me, but I wasn't ready. So he allowed the difficulty. He allowed the heartbreaks. He allowed the pain to come in, set in. And that's when he started talking to me. God started talking to me through the pain, because he knew I would hear him. And the more pain I felt, the more difficulty I experienced, the more of God I was able to see and hear. Since you're trying to understand why God allows difficulties, this loving God, the Father has to allow the difficulties so he can reveal himself. Your difficulties reveal who the Father is. He uses them to grow your faith. That's the whole point of the difficulty, to grow your faith. Because when you grow in faith, that is your strength to believe everything that you can't see. There are so many promises that the Lord has made me. I can't see them, but my faith helps me see them. I see them by faith. And it is because I believe that I will walk into the promises of God, that I am walking in the promises of God. It's only because I believed. Only because I believed. God has to grow your faith, because the more faith you have, the more of God you can see. The more of God you can see, you will be walking in this life, just walking through hardships, just walking through difficulties like nothing happened, and you'll be coming out like you went through nothing. The story where the Father is in the fire with Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, I think that's their names. God is in the fire with them. They had so much faith in the Father that they were willing to go to death if it be necessary. Not just so they don't serve another God. And God came in that fire with them. and not a hair on their head was burned. God responds to your faith. But having faith in God, I can tell you this, there are going to be circumstances in your life where your faith will be tested. I'll tell you a story. I had came to Fresno to see my mother one time, and on my way home, it was, I was on my way back home. I was going back to LA, and my car overheated. So I had to pull over right at the Grapevine. I had to pull over. It was smoke everywhere, and I didn't have enough money to tow my car 4 hours home. That circumstance, it challenged my faith. I had to dig in my faith, and it was quick, but that was the test. And in that moment, I looked around, I looked at everything I could see. I'm looking at the circumstance. My car is overheating. I'm at the Grapevine. I don't have enough money to tow myself all the way home. All the odds was stacked against me. What was I gonna do? I had nobody to help me, but I had God. And I said, as I'm looking at everything against me, there could have been a moment of panic starting to come. But I said, no. I said, Father, I know you didn't bring me out here to leave me out here. My Father wouldn't do that. That's what I said out loud. My Father wouldn't do this to me, because that would be harm. And I know my Father loves me. He loves me dearly. And then I heard the Father say, let the car cool off and start driving. And I said, okay. I let the car cool off. It took about 30 minutes and I started driving again. I drove 4 hours home. Not a problem. But when I got to the street of my house, of where I live, when I hit the street, it was smoke everywhere. You can't tell me that wasn't God. You cannot tell me that that was not my God responding through faith. And not only did he get me home, because I still got a car problem, right? I still got a car problem. So not only did he get me home, I got a brand new car. I got a brand new car. That car had 32 miles on it. I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing. But that was the Father rewarding me for tapping into my faith and responding to what I know, to who I know he is. He allowed that difficulty. It was a difficulty, right? He allowed it. And it was a test. It was a test. But I passed. Because I know my Father. I know my Father loves me. My Father will never put me in harm's way. No, by faith, I know who my Father is. I know my Father loves me, and he protects me, and he provides for me. I know that. And that's how I respond. And guess what? My faith grew a little more. And God started showing me a little more of what he has for me. Dreams, visions. And I believe it. And those things I saw. I saw them. So when the Father has allowed a circumstance in your life, it's not to hurt you. It's not to harm you. It's not. I promise you it's not. We have to learn to slow down and spend time with the Father. Compare what you're feeling to who you know God is. Most of the time it's to grow your faith. If you are a parent and you know that your character is to love your child and give them everything they need, and yet your child goes through something with you that you allowed, and then your child is not sure that you would be there for them, but you allow the difficulty because you know they question you in this way. So you allow this difficulty to bridge the gap where they questioned you in their heart, or how they may have expressed the question of whether you would do something for them or not. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm your mother, I'm your father, of course I would do that for you. But you know that question shouldn't be there in the first place. So you allow a random difficulty to come about, and then you show them what you would do for them, and then their faith grows in you. It's the same way with the Father. The difficulties, they are like custom made to the questions, to the gaps in our hearts where we question the Father. And it may be things we don't even realize are there, but the Father sees it. He knows it's there. So he allows that circumstance because he wants to show you, I am that I am. I'm your Father. That question in your heart of me, that's requiring me to show you who I am in that area. And that's how he grows our faith in him. So the difficulties that the Father allows, they are a reflection of your faith. I mean, think about it. This newfound problem that you have you ever faced it before? Because if you faced it before, it wouldn't question your faith. But this newfound challenge that you're facing, God allowed it because it's questioning your faith. So now he has to show you, I'm the same God who did it then, and I'm gonna do it again. And then he grows you in that area. And then you guys, you keep going in this cycle of growth until you come to a point in your relationship where you don't question the Father. You know, he has established that relationship. He has shown you who he is. He has shown you that whatever comes in your life, it does not mean he don't love you. He has taught you how to face every challenge with faith. God is so good. Our Father is so good to us. He is so good to us. I hope this video was very helpful. I hope it gave insight for you to understand why God allows difficulties in your life. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to post them down below. If you made it this far and you understand what I was saying and I helped you, like the video, share it with someone who may need to see it. And I personally am so grateful and thankful for you for watching this video and for allowing me to help you grow the way the Father helped me grow. I was able to share that with you. This is all from experience. It's all from experience. I have a true gift of faith, but it's only from what I have walked through with the Father, what he has pulled me out of. I know no matter what I face, he coming for me. I know that. So until the next video, I love you. God loves you. And I will see y'all soon. Take care.
Oh,